In Northern Ireland, many are preparing for hot days, possibly with arson attacks. The post-Brexit dispute is putting the whole region under stress. Goods deliveries between Great Britain and the North have been controlled since January. This is what the Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol to the EU Withdrawal Agreement, signed by Boris Johnson's government and the EU, demands. For the transport of goods across the Irish Sea, companies must submit extensive customs declarations and certificates, especially for food and agricultural products. The trade feels paralyzed by this. Well, Northern Ireland supermarkets initially struggled to fill their shelves with groceries. Many English hauliers and online retailers have completely stopped deliveries due to customs duties. The sausage war has been provoking headlines for weeks. It is about threatened EU import controls for chilled meat and sausages. It's not threatened by the EU, it's part of the protocol. Another 3-month grace period was agreed at the end of June to allow deliveries of British meat products to Northern Ireland. Lord Frost, the British Brexit minister I talked about this morning already, negotiating with the EU, considers the Northern Ireland Protocol in its current form to be unsustainable and calls on the EU to agree to pragmatic easing. The protocol is intended to prevent a hard customs border from being set up within Ireland that could endanger peace. The North remains de facto in the EU customs union and in the internal market. Therefore, goods deliveries in the Irish Sea must be checked. British-oriented unionists feel betrayed. They fear that a little Northern Ireland of only 1.8 million people will gradually split off from the kingdom. Or rejoin Ireland, you can put it the other way as well. Tensions could intensify in the coming days. It is the highlight of the annual Northern Irish marching season. Today, the British Protestant loyalists of the Orange Order will march again on the streets of Belfast, Londonderry and elsewhere. More than 100 parades with drum rolls and flags have been announced. The evening before, the Loyalists lit large bonfires, again reminiscent of the beacon that the troops of King William III of England in 1690, William of Orange he was called, who won the decisive victory over breakaway Irish troops the next day in the Battle of the Boyne. This conflict-ridden history is still virulent today. 3 decades of bloody civil war between Catholic nationalists and Protestant unionists did not come to an end until the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. This year, not only bonfires were expected for yesterday, and I had to film it before we could see all this, but possibly also arson attacks and signs of protest against the European Union. EU out of Ulster is written on posters by unionists. For its part, London is trying to step up pressure for the EU to make concessions and require fewer controls in the Irish Sea. Deliveries to supermarkets in Northern Ireland should be waved through without customs documentation. Yeah, Sefcovic told you about the sticker you put on. Brexit Minister David Frost has announced that the Johnson administration will present a new approach by July 22nd. So there could be a unilateral action within the next 2 weeks once more. In March, the British government unilaterally extended the transition period during which the EU rules for importation of animals, meat and agricultural goods into Northern Ireland were suspended by 3 months until the end of September. The European Commission responded with infringement proceedings. The past few weeks would have been intense, said a high-ranking EU official, recently summarizing the dispute over the Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol, a clear understatement from a Brussels point of view. The French government in particular has exerted great pressure to be more tough on the British and has called for retaliation. If the British government takes further unilateral actions, the UK must be persuaded to be faithful to the treaty by all available means, announced the Commission Vice President Sefcovic in June. Especially, it was about punitive tariffs on the import of British goods into the EU. In the end, at least, the Commission was somewhat more conciliatory. The EU has offered to revise its own drug approval rules to facilitate the supply of generic medicines to the north. The same applies to the seemingly banal question of how a smooth border crossing for guide dogs can be ensured. We want to stand by the people of Northern Ireland, commented a Commission representative on this course, but immediately restricted. But we will also show all the necessary severity if Great Britain does not meet its obligations under the Northern Ireland Protocol. The new transition period for chilled meat until September 30th must now be used seriously by the British side in order to find a permanent solution. We cannot renew the period every 3 months because the British are not doing their homework, the Commission said. We need a permanent solution, and they haven't done any homework. They had to build a lot of stuff for the checks, which usually takes at least half a year, and they didn't. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.